What is up, YouTube? Today I'm excited for this video. We are going to be going over our favorite investing platform, M1 Finance. So we'll be going over what it is, what we like about it, and why we think it's the best for dividend growth investing. But first, this is Living with Less.
Alrighty, let's dive into M1 Finance. So for a generic overview of it, M1 Finance is an investing platform that we use for dividend growth investing as well as holding our Roth IRAs. But just for some comparisons, it's similar to something like Robinhood or something like E-Trade.
But it's not.
No way. That's why we got this video. So it's similar to those, but it's not. So what's really awesome is that there's no fees for M1. There's absolutely no trading fees. There's no account minimums, nothing like that. So that's a really big bonus off of the bat. And then aside from that is that you can do fractional share investing. So essentially what that means is, say that you love Amazon, you want to invest into it. Well, right now on this day, you need $3,100 to shell out for one stock. So that's asking a lot of a person, but instead you can just invest in, say, a tenth of that share and only give up $310. So that's a really awesome option that allows you to get into market very easily and also easily diversify, because now you can get a 10th share of Apple, Amazon, etc., all these expensive stocks, but they're very affordable. And then lastly, you have no worries because they are SIPC insured, meaning that your money is backed up to $250,000. And for big ballers, create multiple accounts and you are safe.
So who are we to tell you what kind of investing account to put your money into? Well, my personal investing background has been about 3 years now. I've had accounts with Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Vanguard, and then most recently M1. And this has been about since last August, so a little over a year now. We feel comfortable enough at this point to make a full assessment of why we love M1. So between the two of us, we have 4 accounts total. So we each have an individual brokerage account, and then we also each have a Roth IRA. The Roth IRA is the primary account that you want to fund first. We do that on a monthly basis, and then for our brokerages, we put in every week. So let's get into one of our accounts so we can show you how the app works and how the user experience is when you're actually inside of it. Okay, so we are inside of the app now. This is the desktop app. They also have an iPhone and Android version, but going through here, by default, it shows everything that you'd be used to in an investing platform. It shows your current portfolio value. It has a graph of how it's performed over time. One thing I'd like to point out that I really like about M1 is that it defaults to a lifetime view of your portfolio. So you can see that it started from a really low number over here, that it's just progressed over time. I'll compare this to my experience with Robinhood. By default, Robinhood, at least at the time, it opened up to a single day view of your portfolio. So every time I was opening up the app, you'd see like intraday, like a couple day swings in portfolio value. And it just gets a little bit stressful when you're seeing the ups and downs, where M1 focuses more on long-term investing and seeing that stable growth over time.
Exactly. So like Robinhood's more suited probably for a day trader, to where M1 is not for a day trader.
Cool. So what else do we have within here? I will introduce something called pies, which is kind of M1's claim to fame here. This is something that I am only aware of that M1 has, but it's the concept of allocating a certain percentage to each company that you want within your portfolio. So if I go into here to the edit window, you can see all of our list of companies that we own, and they each have a percentage correlated to them. So what M1 does is it takes your automatic deposits or your dividends that you're paid, and it automatically buys whatever companies are low at the moment to keep rebalancing your portfolio and keep it at that percentage that you allocated. Let's see. The next thing that I'd like to point out is this activity tab. Here you can sort by different activity types. The one I like to look at is dividends, because we focus on dividend investing. But you can just see here the dates here on the left. Every couple of days we're getting paid dividends. Sometimes there's more time than others between payments. But every few days we're getting like these payments: $7, $3, $1, $16. I think that's our biggest so far. But it's really cool to just look through the history of how it's grown over time, and you can go back to the beginning and see like, yeah, we were getting not quite as much, like 21 cents, $1, $1. So it's just really grown over time, and it's exciting to see. There's a holdings tab, which you can see just a brief overview of all of your holdings. Shows the current amount of shares you have, the price, how much you've put into them, and their performance over time.
And with the shares there, you see them as a decimal point, and that's the entire purpose that we're saying of fractional share investing. That, with the first example, Federal Realty Investments, you have 13.12835. On a basic stock market in your mind, you're like, how can you own that precise of a share?
Like 1/10,000th of a share.
Exactly. But with M1, that's possible.
So yeah, I think that's it for the holdings tab. Moving on to funding history, it just shows you how much you've put into the account over time. So since we started in 2019, there's only 2 years here, but this would grow as you keep investing for years, hopefully. And then the bank connection tab is just where you connect your bank to hook up your automatic deposits, or you can do manual deposits if you wish, but that is where you do that at. Another thing I would like to point out is it shows your current cash balance. So what that means is this $14.89 here, I have actually not deposited that money from my bank account. That is only of the dividends that I've gotten paid in the previous few days here. So it looks like the past 3 days or so has accounted to this number. And once this number reaches 25, that's the default setting that it automatically keeps buying stocks for you. So it's really a set it up initially with your Pi system, and then letting the system take over from there and letting it automatically buy for you after that.
All right, now that you guys have seen what this platform looks like, we're gonna get into the pros of this platform. And let me tell you that I thought of a list and I couldn't remember them. So I have a list here that I'm gonna be looking at to tell you the pros. So the first thing we're gonna start off with are that on this platform, you saw the pie that we have. And that can get very granular. And if that's intimidating, do not worry. On M1's website, they have pre-made pies. So it'll even help you choose by mitigating the amount of risk that you're willing to take. So pretty much they advise that if you're younger and you're willing to mitigate more risk, that then they'll create a more risky pie that's more likely to have higher growth. However, if you're older, they'll have less volatile pies that are less of risk, should have growth, and they even have the proven track record over time. So first of all, you can get a pre-made pie. You just get that pie and start investing, which is awesome. Then we want to talk about the customization and how granular it can get. I'm going to be saying the word pie so many times you could turn this into a drinking game. Okay, so with our pie, you saw that we kind of had it simple that every single share that we have or stock that we have is at 2%. But I mean, it doesn't have to be. I mean, you could be some psycho and have 666% on everything, but that's fine. But the point being is that you can have percentages all around and have it so customized to your liking. And since it's automated, you really don't have to worry about it. And that brings me to my next point, is the automated investing. Say you take all this time to determine what shares that you want to hold and invest into. Once you have those, all you have to do is set up your transfer from your bank to M1 and how much you want to invest weekly, monthly, on whatever basis works for you. You get to pick what day you want it on. For us, we have Wednesdays because historically they're less volatile. So you can try that as well. But I mean, the automated investing part is like, pick your pie, set it up, and while you're sleeping, it's gonna trade and buy for you. I mean, I feel like 15 years ago, you had geniuses make programs that did this for them, but now every single one of us can have a genius at our fingertips thanks to M1. That's amazing. So next that I have is self-balancing portfolio. So what's amazing is that with M1 software, they're going to self-balance. So if you have a share that dips in the market on the day that it's automated to buy, it's going to buy more to hold it at, for us, that 2% mark. So that way the pie is always balanced. And if you had to do that manually, for what, we have over 60 companies, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible for us to do that. So you gonna say something?
It really creates like a win-win scenario for us, because each stock, I mean, if it goes up in value, it's awesome because our portfolio is increasing in value. But if it goes down in value, that only creates more buying opportunity, which M1 automatically buys into. So
and
definitely
a
apply.
higher yield. So we love that. And then, I mean, a big thing Brendan called out in the overview is that the default portfolio view is over the lifetime. So that's so nice because, I mean, we're in long-term goals here. I mean, we're not in a get-rich-quick scheme because, I mean, 9 out of 10, they're like scams and they don't work, you know?
Don't listen to Ty Lopez.
So this has proven this works. So it's just motivating to see where we were a year ago in that graph of the chart and just see how far we've come. And it's crazy because a year is still so short of a time period. So imagine what that's going to look like in 10 years for you guys. And then the last thing that I wanted to call out is the UI of this platform. It might have some interesting colors, kind of like the Seattle Seahawks, but that was completely intentional. We actually got an email because when we joined M1, their colors were a little different. I think it was just navy and white, and we're like, oh, that looks sleek and modern. And then out of nowhere, this neon green just came on in. But they sent out a whole email saying that it's for visual impairments and for color blindness. And I, as a woman, do not suffer from that, but I thought that that was absolutely awesome for the inclusivity of this brand to take the time to think about their users and to then tend to those potential impairments that the users can have. So those are my pros, and now the villain is going to get into the cons.
So the first issue that we personally encountered, I don't know if other people have been affected by this, but when Gab was actually setting up her account, she was having some issues. She tried to connect it to her Discover bank account, and there was a weird thing where like the M1 said that it was connected, but like it wasn't pulling from her Discover account. It was an issue that we reached out to customer service for. It took a few weeks to resolve. So it was just a little bit of a weird timing thing, I think. But the issue was resolved by customer service. But that was our personal issue. Another thing with the app is that this is not an app for day traders. For day traders, I would recommend something like Robinhood. M1 is definitely geared more towards long-term investors, people interested in dividends, wanting to see the growth over time, rather than that getting rich quick scheme. So that would be number 2. And then the third disadvantage of M1 is that it is relatively new. So it's not super new, but this company was founded in 2015. So it's definitely not like E-Trade, like the older companies that
Charles Schwab?
Charles
Isn't
Schwab,
that 1800s? I have no idea.
But you know, like the companies that like some of you older folks might be more comfortable with because your parents might have used them, or you know, just heard about them for a long time. We really believe that there is a new wave of investing though, and you want to hop aboard this new wave. So we think it's a pro, but some people may see that as a con, that it is relatively new.
All right, so that's a general overview of M1 Finance and why we think it's awesome for dividend growth investing. And what's even awesomer is that we have a referral code for you guys. If you use our code, which is in the link in the description below, I am handing you $10. It's not as much as Yada, but just take it, okay?
Hey,
Yada video was $2,500, right? But this one's $10. When you sign up with this code and fund your account, you'll get $10 credit. So that's absolutely awesome. But let's recap on M1 to have automated investing, the trackability, the granularness of the pies. Like, come on. M1's really fabulous for anyone looking into dividend growth investing. So please let us know what you think in the comments below. If you sign up, if you currently use it, we would love to hear your feedback. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you're interested in gaining financial independence, living minimalist, as well as sustainability, please subscribe to our channel. So guys, this has been Living with Less. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.